Welcome to the Falcons Fanatic Podcast, your dirty birds every weekend. All right, and welcome back to the Falcons Fanatic Podcast. After a great Week 4 game, Week 4 win against the New Orleans Saints, I am joined by Kaleb Sebastain. Kaleb, how are you doing?
I'm a little worse for wear after that one, but it was a good game overall.
I mean, I heard there were stories that you were going straight for your fantasy team after the.
Listen,
the rough...
I got Koo as my kicker, so sad that my team lost, but I'm looking to pick up a win in fantasy this week because my team is atrocious, so I need all the help I can get.
What's your record?
Currently 1-2.
Yeah, I'm 0-3. I am not doing too well. But anyway, let's get right into this game here. Falcons win 26-24, and honestly, I think the Saints deserve to win this one. If you're just looking out from the side, because it was Shaheed with a muffed punt, which was inside his own 5, and then also a deflected pass off the arm there of, I think it was Judon, knocked it up, and it was picked up there by Troy Anderson picked it up, ran to the end zone, his first touchdown, super fast. That's why we got him. Got injured a little bit later. That's unimportant. The Falcons win with 2 touchdowns, and both of them were on the special teams and defensive side. So if you have the Falcons special teams and defense, you're looking pretty. What do you think about those two turnovers, Caleb?
It's tough when you have a game where you don't let up an offensive touchdown and still lose. Shaheed right away, I don't know why he went to catch that. I don't know why he didn't just let it bounce out of the back of the end zone. And I think he knows that was a dumb mistake by him, and he was great the rest of the game. And then that pick 6, I mean, Carr, that was just unlucky. Judon was in the right spot to deflect that ball, and then obviously Anderson was there and was able to pick it off and take it all the way. So when you don't give up an offensive touchdown, you expect to win those games, but just some bad bounces and didn't go our way.
Look, I really like your offense, actually. Like, Kamara, I didn't expect him to be this good so far into his career, but his vision is, like, unparalleled. I actually don't think there's a running back with his vision in the lane. Like, he was making these, like, every single play, he picks the right hole. And, he's untouched, like, 7 yards down the field. And, obviously, credit to your offensive line for that as well. But your offense is really good. I wouldn't say it's like super fun to watch, but you guys just execute everything like perfectly.
Yeah, Kamara, he's playing like he's 26 again, which is kind of insane. The past couple of seasons he's been out with injuries, and even when he's been in the game, he hasn't been super effective, and we haven't been using him a lot, or as much as I think we should have been. And this season he's kind of turned the corner for like a second wind in his career, I guess you could say, and we're using him quite effectively. And like you said, he's one of the best ball vision running backs in the NFL, if not the best. I mean, just the way he sees the field is unparalleled to any other running back, and the holes he's able to find, and his body movement and his balance is elite for a running back, especially of his age, one that's getting up there. And I will say the rest of the offense really leans on Olave and Shaheed. I mean, we don't have a ton of other weapons, so I think the Eagles last week were able to kind of lock up Olave and Shaheed and made it difficult for Derek Carr to throw to those guys. I think when we're hot, and when we're not, we're really cold.
I was gonna ask, because the first 2 weeks you guys were absolutely dominant, and like you beat the Cowboys, beat the brakes off them, and I know their defense isn't as good as it was last year, but like, do you think it was just Shaheed and they just got locked down? Like, what do you think? What was the reason for your weak performances last week? And then, I don't know. Like this week, it was a couple of unlucky turnovers, and 4th down, you didn't get it. There was points left on the board there to get to 30 points here, which would be a great offensive output. What happened last week?
Well, last week I think the Eagles really game planned to shut down Olave and Shaheed and force Carr to throw the ball to our other receivers who aren't that great. I mean, if you look at the box score from this game, it was just the Olave and the Shaheed show, and Mason Tipton had one reception, and that was pretty much it. But last week, Eagles they had their two high safeties, and that really shut down any deep balls. I mean, Carr wanted to air it out to Shaheed a couple of times, and they just couldn't connect. So I think the Eagles did a really good job of shutting down our top two guys, and even their run defense was quite good against us. So I think if you can shut down Olave and Shaheed, Derek Carr has trouble seeing the rest of the field and getting the ball out to other guys.
But I think if you if you're looking at a team that the two high safety looks would be good for, I think the Falcons, they have like two of the best safeties in the league in Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons. And I know Justin Simmons was sort of quiet in this game. He only had one total tackle, not even a solo tackle. So he was a little bit out of it, and we didn't really show you guys those looks, which I was surprised by. I sort of thought the Eagles had cracked a little bit something of your offense, but you guys were still straight rushing, and that's why I'm bullish on you guys for the rest of the year, because, I mean, like, where does this come from with Derek Carr?
I have no idea. I don't know. I mean, him and Kamara have really just turned a corner this season. I think it might have something to do with our new OC getting some fresh blood in there, and bringing in some new plays.
What's his like tree? What's his coaching tree?
I have no idea. I'll be completely honest.
Clint Kubiak, right?
I'm not that like in depth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not that in depth, but I will say for the Falcons defense, the start of the game they went with that too high look with Simmons and Bates, and we just were pounding the ball with Kamara and with Hill, and so slowly over time, I think you saw those safeties start to creep down, and to try and help out with the run game. And something the Eagles did quite effectively was they were able to have those two safeties up high and still dominate in the trenches.
Because they've got like Jalen Carter and stuff.
Yeah, Jalen Carter was a big game wrecker last week against us. So I think although the Falcons' defensive line played well and they were getting pressures and they were stopping the run a little bit, especially towards the end of the game, I think the start of the game really hurt the Falcons for not being able to take down Kamara.
I was so down in the dumps. Because I thought you were just going to run over us all game. Like, Taysom Hill, 2 touchdowns, like, in the first 2 drives for you guys. And, yeah, it was really disparaging seeing Kamara and Taysom just get every single thing they wanted, because the interior of our defensive line is supposed to be our strength. And, we have a couple of older guys there, but Onyemata should have been doing more. We should have seen a lot more from Grady Jarrett, even though, these guys are past, the 30 mark in their careers. And we saw a couple of splashy plays from Zach Harrison. The same thing. It was Taquan Graham had a nice play there in the middle of this football game. But, it was one of those games where both offenses could sort of do what they wanted. The Falcons a little less than the Saints, honestly. And one of us was just going to be unhappy at the end. Like, whoever got the last score was going to win this football game.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, the Saints defense overall, I'm happy with. Obviously, don't give up a touchdown. You can't be too mad at that performance. But when the Falcons decided to give it off to Robinson and Algier, we really just could not stop them. Like, they were running all over us, and our defensive line couldn't do anything about it. They weren't getting pressure on Cousins. Our secondary played quite well, so I'm happy with them. But
except for Drake London. Drake London had a pretty good game.
He did, because we were putting oh god, why am I blanking on his name?
You weren't putting Lattimore.
Yeah, we put Lattimore on Pitts.
You had a Debo on him.
And we switched between Alontae Taylor and Paulson Debo on Drake London. So it's kind of it was 2 young guys going up against a star receiver, and eventually Drake London's going to break through and get some catches on them. But overall, I'm happy with how they played.
Yeah, I would be too. Like, you look at the rest of our receiving, and it was a couple of receptions to Darnell Mooney, he's so fast he's going to get open some of these times. And then, you've got your screen plays to Bijan and Ray McLeod. And that's basically what we had throughout this game, with, I think, an amazing Tyler Algier game, which we haven't really seen this year. Like, Tyler Algier, 7.5 yards a carry in this one. He had more carries than Bijan. There was just a point where it was just handed off to Tyler, and he's just like that one play. That would have pissed me off if it was against the Falcons, where it's 3rd and long, and Kirk is getting pressured. He just dumps it off to Tyler Algier, And I'd rather have Bijan receiving that, but we had Tyler in the backfield. He was running so well, and it was just the start of him. You have 3 Saints coming on in the area. Just one, boom, like sheds off him, doesn't even lose any momentum. And then the next 2, he sort of weak side contact, somehow gets the first down. I would have been so pissed because that also got us 3 points on the board, which would be a big game changer in this one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Tyler Algier, especially on that play, the first guy he met was Alontae Taylor. It was just this slim cornerback and just got absolutely ran over. And when I was watching this game, I actually had to look up. I was like, is Bijan injured? Like, why isn't he in the game? There was like a full drive where I don't think Robinson.
No, it was all Tyler Algier.
Yeah.
That was like our best drive all game.
Yeah, it was. And I think another thing that kind of hindered our run defense. No Demario Davis in the center of the field, and Tyrann Mathieu went out of the game quite early on, and so those are 2 guys that are really adept at stopping the run, and we lost those and had some younger guys in, and Tyler Algier just kind of had his way with us.
Yeah, because we were last week against the Chiefs. We were running really well, and then we had Drew Dahlman and Kaleb McGarry go down on the right side of our offensive line, and they're both the drivers of our run game. We lost both of them, and the Chiefs shut us out on the offensive line, and it was a really bad game for Bijan. And you saw the exact same thing happen today without them. They're still not back, and we have Storm Norton on the right tackle. I'm not even sure. I don't even remember who our center was in this game, to be honest. He had a couple of... Okay, I'm just going to completely jump topics here. That penalty call on the center, he moved it like a centimeter on the final fucking drive, almost killed me. I actually almost considered suicide there. That was horrible. You see that happen every fucking play where a center adjusts their hand like a smidgen. It's just a smidgen. They called him twice on it, once on the final drive, which almost killed us, but we kind of got saved by the refs later on a PI, which was PI, but it was the ball was arriving, so it was kind of tight. I don't know, but that pissed me off.
Yeah, I mean, I think they would have let it play had our defensive line not all jumped. I think that kind of helped sell it, where our defensive end, I forget who it was on that play, but our defensive end just was halfway into, like, he was at Kirk Cousins by the time the play was over, because he saw that and immediately jumped and immediately started pointing. And then that.
But at what point is it your defense just going offside?
Yeah, it's a fine line, but I will agree that it was a little iffy, and I think like had nobody jumped, I think play goes on, nobody really notices it, but it's also. You have to credit the defensive line in that situation as well for seeing that slight movement and knowing that that's going to get called if they jump. Yeah,
that was really annoying. And another thing that really annoyed me, what's your opinion on Jonathan Wilma?
I don't know if I know who that is.
He was the color commentator for Fox on this game.
Yeah.
He's a former Saints player, and he always gets put on the Falcons Saints games when I'm watching. And he's a former Saints player of 6 years. Every single play, he's just talking about the Saints. It annoys me so much. And like last year, he was really biased. This year, he's fine.
He really did not like. I don't know if you'll remember this, but there was a holding call, and it was on like the offensive lineman held Chase Young.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, and it was like right across the chest.
Was it the one that Bijan scored on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He really did not like that call. He really did not think that was a good call by the officials, which to me was odd because he played for the Saints.
Yeah.
And it helped the Falcons not score. But yeah, I don't know.
My reading of his reaction to that, I think at first he was happy about it and he didn't really talk about it, and then when he did, he realized once he realized what the flag was and what was happening, he was like, okay, let me make sure I make the right call here as a commentator, but also yay, go Saints. I think that's what it was. I don't trust him one bit. I do not. I hate seeing him in the booth.
Well, it's the same as they'll put Drew Brees on. I'm a Notre Dame fan.
Okay.
And we're rivals with Purdue, which is where Drew Brees went to college. And when we play Purdue, they'll put Drew Brees as the color. And I'm like, why are we doing like he tries not to be, but it's hard when that's the team that you played for and the
I would
team
be
that you want to
biased.
win.
I
So
would totally be biased. Like
yeah,
if I was.
I think it's great having former players that are able to articulate the game come in and do some color. But like you said, if he's always on the Falcons Saints games, maybe switch it up and bring in like a Falcons guy every now and then.
Well, yeah, I kind of wish they brought Matt Ryan. But they have Matt Ryan do a lot of games. They had him. Well, actually, anyway, during the game against Philadelphia, the whole second and third quarter, they just brought in Jason Kelsey, and that was another one of the times it's just like, it's just, I don't want to hear about their rookie center, their second round rookie center for 15 hours. You know what I mean? And like this is completely off topic, but that's just like they're just like, and look at him on this play, and he's just like running downfield. And it's like, yeah, that was I taught him that actually, or something. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, Jason? Get off the like, you're a cool dude. I get it. This is not your time.
Yeah, and I do find it like it was a Falcons home game, so you'd think
Yeah.
they'd try to bring in a Falcons guy for that game and bring in a Saints guy for the Saints home game.
Or maybe they'll bring a Falcons guy for the Saints game. So finally, let's talk about Younghoe Koo. What a kick! Oh my god, it's gonna piss you off a little bit, me talking about this, but I mean I had no faith in Younghoe Koo to hit this. He's like the textbook accurate kicker, but he's kind of got a weak leg on him, and I've never seen him even like 54. He always struggles to hit that, but he does. Anything above 55, not even like no shot. But the thing that tipped me off was he had a 53-yarder earlier in this game, and he had a decent amount of space on it. And I was thinking like, okay, there's a possibility, but 58 is way too far for Younghoe. Still knocks it down, and that's the win. And I think you saw in our group chat, I was pretty hyped about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think he put some leg on that. I think he could have hit from 63, 64. Like that went through the uprights and then some.
The man's been eating his greens. He's been eating his leafy greens. I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, again, like I said, I'm torn because lost my team the game, potentially won my fantasy team the game though.
Yeah. How many points is a 58-yarder?
5, I believe.
Really?
Isn't it like incremental of 10? Like if it's 20, it's 2 points.
Oh, no idea.
I think that's how the scoring works. But he got me 20 points this game.
He had 4 field goals, 2 50-plus.
Yeah.
And then the other 2 were 40-plus.
Yeah, like I think he performed. I think he's the top point getter on my team this week.
Well, and that's what they've been saying about this year in general, is it's a kicker's league now. You know? And we're just living in it. My kicker didn't do as well. I'm actually going to look at my fantasy team right now. I have Kyle Pitts, so it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
He didn't get any passes this game. Not one.
He got one.
Well, he fell.
He got one, and Lattimore, he fell. He got one and he fell.
At first, I was thinking it was pass interference. Like I really wanted it to be pass interference. He fell. Like it was. Yeah. There was nothing there.
I thought maybe there might have been a leg clip from Lattimore, but he made his break and fell over.
So defensively, I think the Falcons have a lot to talk about here, and the defense has been our strong suit basically throughout these games. Like we played good defense against the Eagles, as good as you can. Maybe not as good as the Saints did, but as good as you can. And we played good against the Chiefs, I thought. But this game, a little bit disappointing. You know, I think this defense is going to keep us in games. They're going to keep us within arm's reach. But really, we're going to need Kirko legacy drives to win every game. And we have had 2 of them go our way with the Eagles game and this one. So our offense are going to win us games. The defense are going to keep us in it. And I guess that's all I can ask for, especially when we have a negative pass rush. So, whatever. But I don't trust our offense. And Kirk seemed a lot more mobile in this game. I've seen him the fastest he's run all season, I thought, which is still very slow. He booted out for one of the plays and was like being chased down by somebody. I don't know. Maybe it was Chase Young. And he made like 2 steps. I'm like, there's no way. There's absolutely no way he's getting it.
I
But
know what you're talking about. It was Young, and he did get the ball off. He
he made
avoided
it.
the
He,
sack.
he he made it past the hashes. I was very
Yeah,
surprised. I was surprised. He wasn't gonna get yards though.
yeah,
But I think like I just need to see a lot more, especially without these guys on our offensive line from our offense to be because we're not gonna get a pick six every game. We're not gonna get a muffed punt every game, and so we kind of got lucky here, and we stole one away from the Saints, just like we stole one away from the Eagles, and Tampa Bay's they won today, right? Pretty convincingly against the Eagles. It's next game on Thursday is going to be a pretty tight one, and it's another one of those like if we want to be winning this division, we sort of need to win these games, and we shall see. But the offense needs to have a better showing, especially without our offensive line.
yeah. I will say about your offense, a lot of penalties.
Yeah.
I thought, especially on the offensive line, but they were really good at digging themselves out of those holes. Like they would get down on first, like they would get like 2 yards on first down and second and 8, and they might get a holding call at second and 15, and then sack third and 17, and then they'd convert on third and 17. They get down the field, and
I don't think it was third and 17 we ever converted.
it might not have been that much, but there were a couple of times where it was third and more than 6, and the Falcons were able to convert on offense. I think that just really hurts them once they get into the third, like from 30 yards and in towards the end zone. That's when they really bite themselves and aren't able to pick up because of that shorter field that they're working with.
Yeah.
And that's why they had to settle for so many field goals this game and couldn't find the end zone.
Yeah, well, honestly, it was the exact opposite story of our offense the first couple of weeks. Like, we were a very on-schedule offense, get 3 yards on first down, 3 yards on second down, convert on third down. But we wouldn't get behind. Like, if we got behind, we just shit on ourselves, right, and punt it. This game, surprisingly different, and that's because we were led by our throwing game, not our running game today. And Kirk Cousins stood in the pocket, and we had a good pocket. I won't lie, you guys didn't really have too much pressure on him, and he was able to find the open crosser, Drake London with his strong hands, and Ray McLeod getting open on a couple of these across the middle of the field, and it was enough to convert on these third downs. But that's only going to get you so far, like you said. Like that's only going to get you 6 yards, 7 yards, and once it gets into the red zone, the defense gets tighter, and that's gonna be incompletions.
Yeah, our defensive line really struggled, especially against an offensive line like the Falcons that missing 2 of their starters. I thought your offensive line, bar the penalties, played really well. We got, I think, 1 sack on Cousins the whole game.
It was a strip sack, though.
Yeah, well, yeah. Unable to recover the fumble, though, which
I
wasn't a fan of.
Yeah.
Our guy jumped on it. Yeah, and then couldn't recover it. But I thought your offensive line played solid. They had good run blocking, pretty solid pass blocking. Cousins seems to have a lot of time in the pocket on the majority of the pass plays.
He absolutely needs to.
He does, because him out of the pocket, not good.
Oh no! Like I've never seen a quarterback so immobile. Like, and this was his best game being mobile wise. But really, we need a good pocket every single play, because he's not going to create a new one. He's not going to escape it. And so we had that this game, and it was just enough. But a lot of the time, like, he's getting hit just as he's throwing it, and I'm like, oh my god, please just fucking throw the ball. Like, please, just get it out of your hands. But he seemed to do it decently enough.
And I will say, he's like the throws that he's getting hit on, he's still very accurate on those.
Yeah, that's the one.
I mean, there were a couple that he overthrew, but there were a lot that he converted on, and I was thinking, oh, he got hit. Maybe this will be a duck, and we can pick it off, and it would land right in the receiver's hands.
Yeah, he had
the
one
duck
that
was almost intercepted at the end there.
No, it was intercepted in the first quarter, like our second drive.
Yeah.
But that was
I don't know if I would put that on Cousins. His receiver did fall, which seemed to be a trend for the Falcons.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but it was a good win. I'm gonna take it. We do need to see an improved performance, but I think the Falcons have sort of improved every game, and we're looking good coming into Thursday night. 2-2 is exactly where I expected to be through these first four tough games. But we got to beat the Buccaneers once again at home. Kaleb, if there's anything else you want to say, I'm gonna let you go here. But thank you for being on.
Thank you for having me on. I wish the outcome was a little different and I could be talking about the Saints' victory, but I'm happy to talk football with you anytime, Lucky.
Thanks, Kaleb, and I'll have you back once we visit you in New Orleans later this season. And like I said, maybe we'll have Matt Ryan on the broadcast, but we'll see. Thank you.
Sounds good.
All right. All right. That was Kaleb Sebastain. If I knew his social medias, I could tell you off the top of my head, but I can't. But great guy. Unfortunately, he's a Saints fan, but that happens. Not everybody's perfect. Everybody has their vices. But it was, like we were talking about, big win for the Falcons. We're coming up on the weaker spot of our schedule, even though it's still a little bit rough as we come on Thursday Night Football against the Buccaneers. But after that, it really opens up for the Falcons here, and we can go on. We can go streaking here, and hopefully it's a little cleaner. We can get these wins a little, helping my heart out a little bit. But 2-2, like I said, is where I wanted to be. Buccaneers at home next week. It'll be a quick, only 4-day turnaround for the Falcons. Hopefully they'll be able to pull out the win against the 3-1 Buccaneers, surprising Buccaneers. But Kirk Cousins looking better, the whole offense looking better, except for Bijan, who's sort of taking a step back. I'm happy with the win. Darnell Mooney, I'm happy with how good he's been. Happy with how much Drake London's being targeted now. Let's see a little bit more from Kyle Pitts. Honestly, I think he's sort of a lost cause. But that's going to be it for the Falcons Fanatic Podcast. I've been your host, Lucky Roberts. Follow me wherever you want, or just do nothing. I'm not going to tell you exactly what to do. Do what you want. Thank you for listening to the Falcons Fanatic Podcast, and I'll be back on Thursday to recap that wonderful game, and I'll have another secret guest with you for that one as well. All right, thanks.